This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Misty watercolor memory.
Are we even allowed to play Barbra Streisand music anymore after what she said about Michael Jackson's victims?
Oh, yeah, that they liked it?
Ugh.
Ew, gross.
Gross. Turn that off.
I can't play Michael Jackson music either. I deleted his songs from my iTunes.
You think of your childhood memories. Days that would go on forever. You and Julio down by the schoolyard.
No clock, so you just came in when the sun was setting. That's when you knew it was time to eat dinner.
You,
No cell
your
phones.
9, 10 prom nights that just seem to go on and on forever, one leading to the other.
All in a light blue dress.
All a lie. Dirty lies. All of them. These ideas of childhood memories being more meaningful, and so as you age, you recall them and you wonder, where did the time go? Lies. Now it's time to have all of those wonderful memories.
What about your memories?
Discounted by science. Oh,
Your memories
science rearing its ugly head again.
Of your cat Angel, you put a leash on it and tied it to a tree. Remember? So it could be outside in the summertime?
Right, when I had
you
to
guys
bury
played
him in the
500?
backyard.
And then you buried him. Did you put him in a sack before you buried him? And now that, maybe you really didn't even bury him, right?
Angel? Angel, is that you? Yeah.
Angel.
Duke engineering professor. Leave it to the engineering professors. And Duke, fresh off their loss to Michigan State, has a book, The Physics of Life, The Evolution of Everything. And he explains, among other things, why time seems to fly as we age, even though it's not really. Take all the romance out of life. Why don't you, mechanical engineering professorate? His name is Adrian Bejan, and he joins us now. Professor, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I really like your show.
Thank you.
And I have the same memories that the two of you just shared. And that's why I became curious about this phenomenon, which is in every one of us. I hear this from everybody, especially as I'm getting older. And since your show is called The Morning Answer, the answer is that the mind time is not clock time. Clock time is something that's continuous, like the sand pouring down to the bottom of the hourglass. Mind time is not that. It is a sequence of snapshots of perceived changes in the image that strikes the retina, changes. And there's a time, it's like the frames, sequential frames in the tape of a movie, okay? And the snapshots are separated by a time interval, and that time interval is the ratio of the length traveled by the signal from retina to brain. That's a dimension, a length, divided by the speed of that flow. And, well, with age, the length increases because the body grows, and the speed decreases because of all sorts of factors, degradation, rupture, and also the movement of the eyes, called saccade, is slowing down, because that's what happens to all movement in bigger bodies. The bigger the body, the less frequent the movement. And so that ratio, which is the interval between snapshots or time changes, is increasing with age. And this is why at the end of the physical time interval, which is the day from sunrise to sunset, that is fixed. During that fixed time interval, the older person receives fewer and fewer of these time clicks into the mind time perception. And so, yeah, when the sunset occurs, the older person feels that the day passed him or her by faster. That's the explanation from physics.
Amy, repeat that back to the professor, would you?
Okay. Well, have you ever been to an Alzheimer's ward, Professor? Because when the sun goes down, it's awful. Cause my aunt and uncle had Alzheimer's, and it was every time the sun would go down, people would start panicking that they had to find their moms and their dads in their homes, and it was just the worst time to be there.
Well, okay, I have not been in that situation, but I have been around individuals with dementia. My mother included in this group, and all their talk and discussion was about a long time ago when they were children. Yep. So that's another suggestion that the mind, meaning time, the concept is something that is personal. Time is personal, and it is quite different as a concept than the time we read about in the book of physics.
So as you were saying, so older people are viewing fewer new images in the same amount of time. So that's why time, right? So that's why time is passing them more quickly, quote unquote. But is there any? What you're suggesting is there's no physics explanation for some images being more indelible than others. That's personal.
No, that is another thing about human perception of the surroundings. I'm glad you bring it up. The human mind prefers images that are clear or easy to grasp, and those images tend to have a particular shape. The shape of your credit card and business card and the flag of the United States or the computer screen. That shape is adopted or preferred by people unwittingly because it is perceived the fastest. Now, all animals with two eyes, they don't talk back at you, but they prefer this shape in order to understand danger and get out of the way faster and find food and shelter and mate and all the other useful things for life. So this is another phenomenon of the same rank as the so-called mind time, things that happen in us, in our mind, because that is the way we have evolved. This is the way we are constructed in an evolutionary manner for our own good, you see. And by the way, an engineer would ask, well, what is this discovery good for? It is good for teaching yourself and also the people around you what to do or what you can do in order to slow down the speed of this time, the mind time. And the answer is, well, beautify your field of vision with changes that occur more frequently, meaning stop doing routine things.
Leave Chicago.
Do things. Yes. Well, for example, for me, talking to you this morning is something unusual. This is very good for slowing my day down, you see. Do new things. Do unexpected things. Don't do crazy things, but
mix it up.
Yourself.
Yeah, mix it up.
Exactly.
Mix it up. Variety being the spice of life and all that. So Bruce Springsteen is wrong. The glory days do not have to pass you by.
By the way, athletes know this solution probably by training or most likely by talent. Athletes, a good player, surprises you with unexpected moves, and that is beauty in the eyes of the teammate and horror in the eyes of your opponent.
All right.
And by the way, it's fantastic for the spectator too. So stop being a bore is the solution to basically lengthening your life in the eyes of your mind.
Stopping a bore is the way to. I like that. That's simple. That's easy. That's a way to distinguish or to distill the physics down to something that everyday people can actually utilize. That's great. Now, since we're on the topic of physics explaining life and taking all the romance out of everything, can you explain to me why I feel like my parents never loved me? Is there a physics explanation for that? I'm kidding. He is Professor Adrian Bejan. He is the J.A. Jones Distinguished Professor of Mechanical Engineering at Duke. He's also the author of the book, The Physics of Life, The Evolution of Everything. Professor, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com.